Platformers is probably my favorite game genre. Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Dexter, Sly Cooper, Mario, Sonic, and of course, Rayman. Rayman, released in 1995 on the original PlayStation, became an instant classic. Vibrant colors, great graphics, and solid controls. However, the game was pretty hard with some big difficulty spikes. Still, the game sold really well and Rayman became a new mascot for Ubisoft. After that, we got Rayman 2, The Great Escape, for pretty much anything around the time. A phenomenal 3D platforming and the one that got me introduced to the series. To this day, I still think it holds up remarkably well. Later on the next gen, we will get Rayman 3. Another phenomenal 3D platformer and one I love even more than 2. Then there were some spin-offs and not much more for a long while. It took about 9 years exactly until Rayman Origins released, a new mainline Rayman game and in 2D even. As a kid, I was pretty hyped, to say the least, and I loved every minute of it. But that was 9 years ago. Is it still great in 2020? Well, let's check it out. The game starts off with Rayman in the game, chilling, but by doing so making a lot of noise. We get to see an old grandma down in the underworld being pretty annoying by the noise, which I don't blame her at all, they're pretty loud. She tries to stop it, but it only makes it worse. She, alongside the other monsters, has had enough of their bullshit and decides to try to put a stop to it. There's some screaming, there's some fighting, but Rayman and crew gets caught. Whoops. It isn't long though before Rayman is free and he can manage to save the others. One of the best parts about Rayman Origins was its split screen co-op. Yeah, this game can be played up to 4 players a la New Super Mario Bros. Style. I played this alone for this review, however, since I don't have anyone who will play this with me. So this review is focused with me playing solo. The Snoring Tree acts as our hub world. You can't do much there now, but I will go more into that later. Upon entering the first level, we see a monster or what appears to keep someone trapped inside. Her name is Petilla and she is a nymph. So after some running and bumping on the head, Petilla is free, so he grants us the power of combat. Throughout the game you can find more of these fairies that will grant you a new power, such as swimming, being able to shrink, running on walls, and the hover move. The one thing I don't like is how you have to unlock the hover move. Why of all moves is that something you have to unlock and couldn't have from the start? Do you know how weird it is playing the first world without it? It feels unnatural. It's fun, but it feels like something is missing. But it's really my minor nitpick though. I wish there was like another ability instead of like a whole move. It should have been something you had from the start. Controls wise, it's fantastic. I wouldn't say near perfection. The levels are perfectly built around the controls. There were no times when I got mad because of the controls. They really nailed it in this game. Same with the level design. The pacing is perfect and there was never a time where the level design got confusing in any way. So apart from getting to the end of the stage, what is the goal of Rayman Origins? By the end of the stage there is a cage you can destroy to free these purple creatures. However, there's also 2 hidden cages in the platforming levels. The hidden cages can be pretty well hidden, but you can actually hear a cry of help from them if you're nearby. But also 2 by the end of the stage, depending on how many lumps you have collected throughout the stage. Yeah, these yellow creatures are called lumps, and collecting enough grants you 2 of these. Can I just say this game has such an amazing art style? Everything pops up so well with beautiful colors and gorgeous backgrounds. The animation as well is great, expressive and full of life. They really made the world feel so much alive. This game made such a fantastic first impression of the UB art engine, and with Legends, it only got better. Oh god, I love the theming in this game's worlds. Now there are worlds like the jungle and water world, which doesn't sound all that terribly unique. But then you have worlds like the music world, a world themed around instruments. And after that there's the ice and fire world, themed around foods and drinks. The mountain and cyberpunk theme world, which speaks for itself. All these worlds are so fun to explore. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this. But every time you travel to a new world, you do that by having one of these shooting sections by jumping on the mosquito grow and flying to the goal. These are a ton of fun. It controls great, has the perfect speed too. You have a stand attack, but you can also suck up enemies and fire them out again. Definitely some of my favorite levels in the game. Let's move on to the bosses. And they're pretty great. They get tougher and tougher as you go along, obviously. My favorite boss in the entire game would have to be the Fire Dragon. It starts with a chase where you have been escaped from these fire dragons chasing you on ice. And then by the end, you enter the dragon's belly. Inside the belly, you stumble upon this stomach, and it all ends with you being chased by a fire. It's ridiculously awesome, and dude, the track in the background during the fight is just my favorite in this game. But the other bosses are great too. However, I noticed something odd. When you save all the fairies, you will unlock more levels in the previous worlds, with a boss in each of them. Now each of these bosses starts with a form of chase, except for the angry bird. It's the only one of the four who doesn't have a chase. I mean, the boss itself is fine, but just can't help but feel like it would have had even more impact if there was some form of chase like the others had. After being able to have beaten the worlds, you can enter the final one, the cyberpunk world. These are pretty tough and pretty long levels, but there aren't that many of them though. Reaching the final level of the world, we can finally find out who is responsible for all of this, and it is none other than an evil Tensei. But yeah, this is the same guy that appears in each of the level counting the lumps, so all this time you've been helping him. After the intense reveal, he pulls a lever and you fall down like in Undertale. After the fall, we are then encountered by a roboticized version of the plant monster we fought against earlier. Then there is a robotic version of the angry bird. So after those fights, we then climb up back to the control room where the Tensei dropped us. He gets scared, falls down and starts dancing. You know, the usual. So after escaping from the dance, you have to chase him through all these fallen metal pieces. I remember this being super hard as a kid, but now I can do it in one go. After that is done, he jumps on the blimp, which means you have to fly on the mosquito. This section is pretty tough as well. A lot of enemies you worry about on the screen, but once you damage the blimp enough, you will get rewarded with the greatest ending of all time. Then, credits. So yeah, that was Rayman Origins. Whoa, hold on your horses now. We are not done yet. There's still a secret final world. Yes, there's a secret world where you can enter. And how do you do that exactly? Well, remember when I said you would unlock more levels and more lumps to collect? Well, when you do that, you unlock these chase levels where you have to chase after treasure. These are some of the hardest levels in the game. You need to be very precise, otherwise you have to start all over again. There are 10 levels of these in the game. Once you've done all of them and gotten all the red teeth, you can give it to this guy and you will be able to go to the last secret world, Land of the Living Dead. This is the true hardest level in the game. Your platforming skills are tested to the most in this level. This is where you're going to die the most out of all the levels. At the end of the stage, it's also a boss to defeat, Big Mama. Her fight is probably the hardest in the game, especially since her weak spots only appear for less than a second. You defeat her and she turns into the last nymph. And then the real credits show up and you can also interact with it. So yeah, that was Rayman Origins. Even 9 years, this game is still a masterpiece. Fantastic controls, beautiful graphics, great level design. On top of having a great co-op, which I didn't show in this game, but trust me, it's really good. This game is still a top tier platformer and one more people should play. So thanks for joining on this video guys. Next time I'll try to look at Rayman Legends that got released only 2 years after Origins. Is it better than Origins though? Well, you have to wait to find out.